Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday night, your favorite night of the week, because it's the Bama Standard. Go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. Jump in the live chat. Let us know what you think. If you're watching the replay, tell us how you feel. Show us some love. I'm your host, Justin Riley. With me, as always, is the most consistent player in the game, all SEC linebacker, Marvin Constant, and senior analyst of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Stephen M. Smith. What's up, fellas?
How we feeling? What's
Doing
going
good.
on?
Got a lot going on for Bama fans right now. Before we get into it, we are brought to you by Workspace Solutions and Oakmont Financial Partners. Gentlemen, we've been waiting for the past 2 weeks to find out who our coordinators are going to be. I like to kind of start things out talking about the possible new OC. Yesterday, Bama fans got a little bit of excitement with the possibility of Ryan Grubb from Washington coming in for an interview. This is a guy that was responsible for the number 2 overall offense in terms of total offense in the nation last year with Washington. And also, he probably performed one of the greatest glow ups in terms of quarterback last year with Michael Penix Jr. Michael Penix Jr. was a transfer from Indiana, came over to Washington, and he ended up going from project to viable first round draft pick. He led the nation, or was second in the nation. Sorry about that, with 4,641 passing yards. So when I hear that, it tells me this is a guy that can develop quarterbacks, and this is a guy that we want on board in terms of developing Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson. Stephen M. Smith, I'm going to let you take this baton and talk to the audience here about what happened. Did we really lose something here? And what's next?
Well, like you said, Justin, Ryan Grubb of Washington, he did come down last week for an interview. He was in Tuscaloosa. He did meet with Coach Saban and other officials. And what Washington's trying to say is that he was offered the job. That's what Washington fans are trying to say, but he was offered the job, but he turned it down when, in all actuality, he was not offered the job. Coach Saban was basically telling him, hey, we're going to be talking to other candidates. We're still interviewing other guys. And Ryan Grubb kind of want the job right now. He want the offer right then, didn't get the offer right then. And of course, the Huskies are kind of upset that the man even took the interview because at Washington, he recently signed with a 2-year extension that was a little over $2 million. And I know Alabama was paying Bill O'Brien 1.1 million. So if you had to get Grubb, you would have to give him 2.2 or anything north of that. So I don't even think he was offered the job. Saban was trying to communicate with other people. Grubb was like, hey, I want this now. And just kind of, it just went phase and left quick.
Gotcha. So he's off the table. No time to really dwell on it. Obviously, Jeff Levy is still on the table. I'd heard at one point that possibly he had turned us down, but Coach Saban wasn't going to give up that easy. But then we got Joe Brady, who's still out there, a quarterback savant, and Brian Johnson, who has spent time in the SEC and who is a quarterback whisperer himself. To you, who stands out as the best candidate, the best fit? And then Marvin, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what we'll tell you what, we'll start out with Marvin. And if you would, man,
Marvin says he's the guy. Marvin
what's
says
the best
hire
fit?
him.
What's the best fit here? What direction do we go?
Tell them to call me. I teach a quarterback. I teach quarterback how to throw dimes, baby. Get that thing out quick. Keep that elbow up. That quick release. Yeah.
I know you had that. You had that SAG card, Marvin. Did that get you involved with the QB1 series as a consultant?
No, see, Marvin low key. They never showed him, but it was Marvin that was in them Trent Dilfer Elite 11 camps. They had Marvin right there at them camps.
But here's the reality of it. Who better to be an offensive play caller than someone with a great defensive mind?
Well, Mike Patricia did that last year for the Patriots, and that didn't exactly work too well.
Now, Justin, I wouldn't call Matt Patricia the greatest defensive mind in the world either, though.
Right.
Well, true. He wasn't all SEC. And go ahead, Marvin. Sorry.
Nah, but in all seriousness, I have no clue who the next offensive coordinator at Alabama will be, nor who it should be. I just know that we need a quarterback who's going to come in and command respect of not only the players, the coaching staff, and of the fan base. Someone who's going to transcend the game to the next level of where we need to be. Because with our current former coordinator, I feel like Alabama's offense took a step back. If you look at what Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian brought to the table, they elevated that offense to levels that Alabama's offense has never been to. And it feels like we took about 10 steps backwards this past season. So whoever they decide to bring in, I'm going to need them to transcend this offense to the next level, if not the equivalent of what Sarkisian and Lane did. Because, I know that's a tough act to follow, but anything less than that, you're selling your program short, because you're going to have to score points against Tennessee. You're going to have to score points against LSU, Georgia, Florida. You're going to have to score against all these teams. Now, having a great defense is definitely going to be a benefit to you in the fact that you probably won't have to score as many points, but you're still going to have to score a lot of points.
And just to add to what Marvin is saying, I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter who the guy is, but Jeff Lebby fits in that same Sarkisian Lane Kiffin cloth. He was with Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss in 2020 and 2021. Saw what he did with Matt Corral, a dual threat quarterback, making him a NFL draft prospect. You look at a name like Joe Brady, all you got to say is 2019 LSU offense. And you're like Burrow, Elaire, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, those dudes, but all got drafted.
We're not referencing Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase after that piss poor performance. Do you understand? I placed a $100 bet.
I know you did, Marvin, and they let you down, and they royally let you down.
All you had to do was win the game. You came back from down 10, and you get a stupid penalty. True, that one penalty did not define the entire game, but it damn sure decided the fate of the game.
And unfortunately, your money, which I'm sorry about that, Marvin. I know the bombs.
Lose $100 or win $1,100. One penalty was the difference.
But you got him, and then you got now the sneaky name in all of this is Brian Johnson, who's still being talked about. He's the quarterback coach of the Eagles, and what he's done with Jalen Hurts, played quarterback himself at Utah. Does have a footprint in the SEC.
Let me stop you right there. This is the one thing I'm going to say, and I want people to understand why I'm about to say what I'm going to say. We don't really need NFL coaches on a college staff, because you have to add in the factor of actually being able to relate to these kids and actually recruit, and then actually having the ability to damn coach. Most NFL coaches, they just going to go to work, do their job, and go home. They could care less about relating to their players. It's a job. So to get them to come to college with that same mindset, to think that they could actually coach, you've seen it with Marrone. You've seen it with Bill O'Brien. We've seen it with countless coaches come from the NFL. They struggle when they come to college.
I agree completely, but then Brian Johnson is a college guy, spent time in Mississippi State and Florida, so I still feel like he knows how to relate to players on a college level.
If you get a promotion, you no longer have to take the trash out and wash the dishes, but they tell you on this next assignment they're going to give you, you got to go back to doing it. Are you going to go back to doing it? Probably not.
Okay, fair point. But yeah, he can be considered a dark horse, but Lebby Brady ultimately, I think, fit the bill
taking
here.
The trash and the dishes, man. To all trash man and dishwashers, I hope you're listening.
All right. Well, we're going to touch on this briefly before Slade Bolden comes in. He'll be joining us in just a few minutes. We're talking about having to score points, but on the other side of the ball, we got to be able to stop folks. And right now, there's been a major delay, and Bama fans are getting a little bit anxious, and that's because we don't know who our defensive coordinator is going to be. It's been suggested that Jeremy Pruitt is in fact the guy, but then also Coach Saban may be settling for Ty Grantham. The guys right now, the defensive coordinator, the defense is at a crossroads. If we make the wrong hire, the ship is headed for disaster, glacier, iceberg right ahead. But if we make the right hire, a Jeremy Pruitt, we set sail right back to the charted waters we're accustomed to. Marvin, I'll let you lead off. How important is this hire, and what could you feel like it's possibly causing the delay?
Well, we all know the past few years, Alabama's defense has struggled with stopping people and making adjustments. This is just another extension of
Golden 2.0, right?
of what this defense has not been able to do. It's not that difficult to get the guy that you want. It's real simple. You cross your T's, you dot your I's, you get your checkbook out, you write a check. Occasionally, you got to grease some palms. So clearly, we're not greasing enough palms along the way to get the desired end result. I mean, whether people want to accept it or not, greasing palms is a major part of college football, okay? Yeah, I know it's not something that's talked about, but it happens. So until we start greasing some palms, this is going to be an even longer process. Okay, we all know some issues are looming on one particular candidate. Okay, a check to a charity might just alleviate some of this, or the right person coming home to a nice gift. Again, gotta pay some dues sometime, grease some palms. I'm just saying it's not as easy as people think it is when it comes to that. But I do know checks usually make things happen.
So Marvin is of the foundation of money cures all in some instances. In some instances.
It does. And, I saw this question in the chat, and I want to address this. Can Alabama hire him? Yes, they have the all clear, but what we're looking at here is not knowing what the ramifications can ultimately be. It could be a slap on the wrist. It could be a suspension for a year. It could be a suspension from recruiting if Jeremy Pruitt is hired. The thing is, we just don't know. The question is the risk greater than the reward?
Justin, yes. If the risk is he can't recruit for a year, I will trade him coaching my defense for him.
Yeah,
1 year.
And
cool. Just come coach defense for a year. Huh?
Look. If the ramification is a year not recruiting, you got several recruiters on staff. Just let him coach.
He doesn't have to make an appearance, Stephen. All he has to say is, "Hey, I'm Jeremy Pruitt. Let me introduce you to my associate."
Period.
And guys are sold. There is no negotiation. There is no.
That's why Nick Saban hired Austin Armstrong first, so Armstrong can get started on recruiting, and everybody else can start on the recruiting. Nick Saban taking a picture with these kids anyway, so all Jeremy got to do is coach the kids.
Well, here's the reality of it. Having a great defense is a selling point and a recruiting tool within itself. Yeah. Going out there getting killed every week, coached by Pete, that ain't a selling point. Okay? No. Get these kids a real coordinator, and if he got to sit out for a season of recruiting, so be it, man. Listen, you need me to recruit, I fill in for him. I ain't paid nobody off yet. Oh, my bad. I ain't paid nobody off.
Huh? We had a little blip
there. Man, you know what, man? Look, man, I'll go out there and I'll recruit then. I'll go out there and recruit for him.
Yeah, I'll go recruit and I'll show them a good time. You know what I'm talking about? I make sure they see everything. I'm from Tuscaloosa. Make sure they see everything they need to see. They need some text. I can handle all that for Jeremy.
Archibald and Woodrows, just go ahead and bring them on down.
The CC.
I will be Jeremy's assistant for a small fee. Okay? I'm not even going to ask you for much. I work on commission. For every kid I sign, I just need like a $5,000 bonus, and we'll call it a day.
So that is Marvin's formal application for defensive analyst. So take that right now, Coach Saban.
But I got to work remote, though. I can't come to Tuscaloosa.
He's still working with the knees, so remote.
No, it ain't got nothing to do with the knees. I live in Atlanta. I got to work remote. I can't go to Tuscaloosa.
He's gonna have. They're gonna be a drone holding a cell phone with Marvin on FaceTime, coaching the guys up.
Okay.
As a recruiter, I don't have to coach. I just got to know how to talk to him.
Really?
True. But I don't even think
you can date and marry a beautiful woman, you can convince a kid to go play at your school.
You can.
You're right.
You really can. Yeah,
you definitely can. But my last point is Todd Grantham really shouldn't be in consideration. I don't feel like he should be the quote unquote settled for guy. there are plenty of other qualified names out there that we would need to pursue before even considering a train wreck such as Ty Grantham. If
What all
Pruitt is
schools
not
has he been at?
he's been at Florida, he's been at Mississippi State, Georgia.
Wasn't he at Georgia?
Yeah.
Yes, he was there for a time.
He did a
But
piss poor job at Georgia too.
his claim to fame was with Mississippi State when they had Montez Sweat, Willie Gay,
Yeah.
and all those guys.
Jeffrey Simmons, all them guys. I mean, he's.
Well, how can you not win with them?
I think the issue with Grantham a lot of times is he's like blitzing on steroids. Like every play is a blitz with Grantham. And I understand folks are like, we gotta bring pressure. But like every season when you watch a Grantham defense, he's sending 6-7 guys. I'm like, Grantham, it's a blitz every play.
All right, I'm gonna make a suggestion for defensive coordinator. This guy has not been a defensive coordinator. He is a defensive back coach, but he's so intelligent and he knows the game so well. In the NFL, he can play any position in the secondary. And when I say he knows the ins and outs of every offense, and he's a guy that will truly motivate our kids, current Jacksonville Jaguars secondary coach, Deshae Townsend.
Hey, now.
Hey, that is
the man played every position in the second. And when I say that man knows defense and offensive football better than anybody I know, I could have a conversation with Shay about breaking something down. And before I could even halfway get my what I want to say, he's already spit back to me what needs to be ran defensively to stop whatever that offense is doing.
Also, played at Bama, has a Super Bowl ring, Super Bowl champion.
Yep. And is a great defensive mind. And you talking about somebody that these kids will relate to, and he's from Batesville, Mississippi. Come on, man. He's the type of person, high energy guy that these kids can relate to because, again, not only did he play at Alabama, he won a Super Bowl. And he's damn Deshae Townsend.
Period.
And a great defensive mind.
I'm all for it. I didn't even think about that. I was if we're gonna go dark horse, if we're gonna go Alabama guy, even look at Lemansky Hall over at Clemson.
I'll take Deshae. Deshae has a wealth of defensive knowledge. You got to understand something. Lemansky, I'm great guy. Love Ski, one of my good friends. But with Shay, you're going to get someone who can read and understand offenses and make adjustments in a split second. Because to play every position in the secondary, you got to understand what every piece on that offense is doing at almost any given moment, because you got to know where you're at on that field and who you got to be either A, playing man on, B, a man zone concept, some type of bracket, or C, a zone. It's just so much information you have to process in a split second. And to be able to do it from any position in the secondary, that tells you everything you need to know about his football IQ, because most people can only play one position, let alone 5.
Yeah,
and then also with him, and then also with you got to look at all of the knowledge he soaked up from legendary coaches. He played under Bill Cowher. That's like motivation by itself. You play under, among others, but when you play under guys like Bill Cowher and you play around Pro Bowl, Super Bowl, All Pro vets, you soak up a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, he played with Troy Polamalu, Hines Ward, and so many other great players at Pittsburgh.
Jerome
but again, the fact of being able to play 5 different positions, most people don't understand how difficult that is to play 5 different positions. You know, a lot of times you'll have a wide receiver, he'll play one receiver position. Every now and then you might see him go to the slot or something. But you don't see a receiver who play all 5 slots, all 5 positions at receiver. You don't see that because it's extremely difficult to be able to play 5 positions and know the intricacies of each position and play them effectively on a day-to-day, on down-to-down basis.
Absolutely. So how soon do we need to make a move here if, in fact, Jeremy Pruitt is not the guy? Because I feel like, with spring training looming and we're just a few weeks away before the start, I feel like it's imperative we make a move now. And maybe do you feel like Coach Saban, on outside chance here, has already made his decision. He just hadn't made it public yet.
I don't know if he's made a decision yet, but the reality is with the early signing period, there's not as much pressure to go ahead and get a guy because you've already signed the majority of your class. Okay. So the last little bit, pieces you'll pick up, that's what we would call light work. But because you've already signed the majority of your class, you don't really need him to be in place right now. You don't have to make a rush decision because you don't need him for that recruiting piece. You got other people who can fill in for the light work for those last few pieces that they'll sign on National Signing Day, which is what, next week? I mean, so you don't need him for those purposes. The purpose you need him for will be spring practice. So, if you were to hire him mid to end of February, he if you hire him mid-February, he's got about a month to learn the ins and outs of the defense he's expected to run. And for most coordinators, you understand the concepts. And when you understand the concepts, it's easy to attach the language of the head coach to those concepts and just make it work. Because I can guarantee you, no matter what the concepts are, he ran them as a player on some level. So it's just a matter of renaming them and adapting them to the Alabama standard.
Absolutely. And, hey, any of these guys fit the bill. So it's not
I would rather have Shea.
I'm for Shea. I'm all for it.
If we can't get Jeremy, I would rather they take a chance and give it to Deshae.
All right.
Take the dice up and roll it then, boy.
Well, let's take a vote. Marvin, what's your vote of confidence right now that we get done with Jeremy Pruitt? And Stephen, give me yours after that before we let Slade in.
I'm pretty high level of confidence on it. And I think, again, having that early signing period takes a lot of pressure off and having to have a coach in place because you signed who you're going to sign anyway. Because a lot of times a kid will sign based upon who their coordinator or their position coach is going to be because that's who they know they're going to spend time with on a day-to-day basis. So there's no rush because, again, they've already locked in the majority of who they're bringing in. Most of them are already on campus. So there's no rush.
Stephen M., give me your verdict here as we wait for Slade to come on, which should be any minute now.
I think Pruitt's the guy. So many signs are pointing towards Pruitt. I think Pruitt's it. I think Saban is all in on trying to get him. Even if the verdict becomes him missing a year of recruiting, I don't think that's a big deal. You got several recruiters on staff. What you need is a coach to motivate this defense, get this defense back playing big ball, grab Marvin the Constant if you want to. But I mean, the more I talk to people, it's a growing feeling. Pruitt's it. So I'm gonna go with the people, man. Pruitt.
All right. Well,
I'm ready to recruit. I got my phones ready. I'm ready.
Does he really have two phones?
He does.
Oh man.
But listen, guys, we will be talking about that for the next probably few days, maybe weeks. Hopefully it won't be that long. Hopefully we'll know something before the end of the week. But until then, we got a very special guest coming in. I'm going to let the greatest MC, announcer, whatever you want to call it, handle the duty right now because we got a star right here in our waiting room.
Oh, you said the waiting room. I thought you was talking
man,
about me.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. I had the joy of covering this cat right here. Came out of Louisiana, that dirty, 2018. This boy was snatching everything from the scout team to the kickoff and the punt return and wide receiver, play a little quarterback. This dude can sell hot dogs and beer, and I'd be all right with it. I mean,
just keep going, Steven. What else you got for me?
I mean, we talking about
he can fix carburetors.
We got a national champion right here. Could probably drive a NASCAR. Whatever he want to do, man, he got some of the greatest hair I've seen also. Man, get him for the Swiss Army knife. Slade to blade him up. Slade Bolden.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
I
Man,
thought that was Chris Pratt for a minute.
I wish. I wouldn't mind that either. But I appreciate the introduction, Steven. That means a lot. Yeah, and remember, just like Boobie Miles' uncle said, and he can pass. I was waiting for that one, but I didn't get it. I still got that one.
For real though, you did throw that touchdown to Miller Forrestal against Arkansas, though. Like
Epic.
You did do that.
You did
do that.
Trust me, I'll never let that one die.
Was your elbow up, and did you have the proper release for the trajectory?
Well, the good thing, already had the mechanics. I played quarterback throughout all of high school, so it was definitely nerve wracking. But I still got it a little bit. I feel like I still got it.
Maybe you could teach Steven M a thing or two. My God, that man couldn't hit the side of a barn.
Man, hey, bro. I can flip that thing now. Go on with it.
Right there, Slade, was Marvin's attempt at becoming the new offensive coordinator or quarterbacks coach. He was showing that why not have a defensive mind?
Well, we're looking for one right now,
coordinator.
Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, that pass against Arkansas, probably one of the greatest crowd pops ever in Bryant-Denny, man. Still one of the greatest moments.
It was Tennessee, actually.
Tennessee, yeah.
Against Tennessee, yeah. So, and it's funny because I always had a good game. Every time we played Tennessee, my sophomore and junior year, I was like, man, I love playing Tennessee because it was my first touchdown, and then it was my first start at receiver, and I'm like, man, every year I have a great game. I feel great against these guys. So, but last year was, we won obviously, but wasn't anything special for my part.
Now, I just want to say this though, Slade. Like, what was it about? Whether it was Tennessee coming to Bryant-Denny or you going to Knoxville? Because you're right. When you played the Vols, like you went off. Like I remember, right. I think it was one of your last year, but you had like 7 catches in Knoxville. I'm like,
that was my junior year. Yeah, that was my first start, and I went, almost for 100 yards. I should have, but it was like 96 yards for 6 catches or something like that. But it was still my first start of the year and ever at receiver. So not my first time playing. I got in the game a little bit. My first year playing, which was my sophomore year, but that was my first start. So it was for me at that point in time, and with Jalen going down, it was, I would say, a good game. For me to come in and do that at the time, but I could always have played better, of course. But that was definitely a special moment. I will never forget being my first start, and against Tennessee of all teams.
Quick question. Do they still play Rocky Top all week, the week of Tennessee?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was
in the training room for sure. It's the most annoying thing ever. And then you got all the training staff, everybody's singing along, just trying to make it more worse than what it already is.
Right, like this is not annoying me. This is really just
pissing me
off. More
right, no doubt, because that's how, just like with the noise on Thursdays, the crowd noise in the indoor.
I used to hate that.
It's a part of it, right? It's a part of once you get to it, once you're in the stadium and the Rocky Top's playing, or whatever it is that week, whatever band song it is that week, and the crowd noise, it don't faze you, and it's just like what we've been doing all week. So,
but you know what my response always was: if we're going on the road to Tennessee, Ole Miss, wherever we're going, the crowd is going to be quiet while their offense is on the field. So we're fine defensively. So why do you subject us to this?
Yeah.
Because when they're on offense, there's nobody yelling. We can talk about it.
Now, the only difference, Marvin, is Mississippi State. Them cowbells gonna ring regardless.
Non-stop.
Whether they on offense or not. Like I remember, I think it was 2015, the year Derrick Henry went off in Starkville. De'Runnya Wilson, God rest his soul. De'Runnya Wilson got hurt. Marlon Humphrey pancaked that guy out. De'Runnya is laying on the ground, and all you're hearing is clang, 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 clang. I'm like, your best receiver is laid out, and you still clang the bell?
Yeah, don't know how to act. So I'm seeing a pattern here, Slade. Alabama's found success against Tennessee when you were having success. You decided to go pro this year, and we go to Knoxville and we lose. So is there a correlation there? Maybe you should have.
I hope it's not. I hope it's not. I mean, if there was any team to beat, so let me say this: is if there was any team at Tennessee in the last 10 years, maybe when Dobbs was there, to beat Bama, and at home, I think that was the team to do it, and along with our team to do it against. I actually thought this year's team was going to be better than last year's team. I don't know about 2020, but I thought, yeah. So I literally told, when people ask, because I've got plenty of questions, why'd you leave? Why'd you do this? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, if I would have stayed, I may not played as much as I did my last year, or
Slade,
I'd have played.
out. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you. Had you stayed, you would have caught 1,000 balls this year, because those receivers this year, this would have been a magical year for you, probably.
Well,
no doubt.
You say that, but also I did get hurt too. So I always look at it in perspective. And hindsight 2020, come back, start the whole year, catch how many balls. The other receivers weren't having as good as years I thought they were going to have. But knowing how my first 2 years or first 3 years at being at Bama went, and how I kind of had to fight for every playing position, playing time, and being able to, now I know how Saban is, and I appreciate, I'm very blessed and thankful that he gave me the opportunity to what I was able to do. But, I felt like I always had to rotate, always had to, not really worry about losing position, but I always had to be almost perfect to play. And my thing was like, I'm coming out healthy. I'm ready to, and I've done everything I could. I've got my master's degree. I was done with school. I won a national championship, won 3 SECs. I just felt like, and, obviously praying and talking to my family about it, which helps. I was just, what, if I come back, I either could possibly not play as much as I did the year before, or have to rotate and be in the same situation with, JoJo, or even the new guy, Kobe Prentice, or, Isaiah Bond, some of those new cats that were coming in, which was the same situation the year before, that I had to rotate with JoJo. And I think he's a great player, and that there's nothing against those guys at all. Do I believe I was better and more deserving? Yes, but that's just me, because that's how I'm a competitor, and that's just how I am. So at the end of the day, I felt like that was kind of the reason why I decided to leave. But then you look at it now, the situation I'm in now, if I'd have came back for a 5th year and I got hurt, got sports hernia surgery, which I feel like was going to happen regardless because of the wear and tear on my body, being at Bama for 4 years and then going straight into training for the combine, the pro day, and all that stuff. Eventually, I was probably going to tear one side, if not the other. And then I'd have been really in a pickle or screwed situation. I've been in my 5th year and probably would have missed 10 games of the season. So then you're like, oh, yeah, people were like, you should have came back. I don't know why you left, like, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, what if I'd have came back and got hurt? Then how's my future really looking after that? Then I got to play a 6th year, or do I leave after this year? It's just, and I feel like everything happens for a reason. And, the good thing is, the way I believe is that, my life is not in my own hands, because if it were, it probably wouldn't be anywhere close to where I am today. So I've lived that way, and I made my decisions that way. So, hindsight 2020, everything is not always going to work out the way it seems to be.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I got hurt on the last play of a game playing against LSU with no time left on the clock. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, let's get everybody up to date, Slade. It's been a minute since you've been on here, and I kind of want to pick up where we left off last time you were here. We were getting ready for the NFL draft. So after all that happened, man, what were your expectations going into camp, and how did that compare to what the actual reality was?
Right. So, being an undrafted guy, you almost have to be perfect. And was so used to being that way. Having to be like that underdog mentality, having to fight for every playing time and every, starting position I've had in college. I had to treat every practice, every meeting, like it was, I was going to get cut that day. That's how I thought. I was like, if I don't come in, if I don't catch every ball, if I don't run every route, I don't get open every route, if I don't come in, if I miss a play, I miss an assignment. Like in my mind, I'm thinking I'm done. So now, obviously, it's not that serious, but because of the way I feel like I'm wired and the competitor in me, I showed up every day. I was the first one. Like, I seriously was like, people say like you're the first one in, first one out type guy, or last one
Yeah.
out type guy. I was that guy. Like, I was in there at like 5:45 every morning. I didn't leave till 7:30. Watching film after dinner, whatever. And I was having a really good summer. I'm not trying to brag on myself, but I was really doing well during the OTAs and leading into mini camp and training camp. I was really doing well, and then for the first preseason game, I had got like in a concussion protocol,
Jeez.
which you can. So in the league, they're very serious about any kind of head injuries, any kind of. If you even have like a headache in the league, they'll test you for concussion protocol. So I got into that for the first preseason game, which sucked because I missed the first preseason game, which is big for undrafted guys because not only is it showcasing what you can do on the field for the team you're on, but also showcases to 31 other teams what you can do just in case that team you're on doesn't want you. And so that was really important, and I didn't get to do it. And then the following week is when I tore my groin. So that obviously that was really tough. But I know for a fact that I was going to make the team. That's just what I believe and how I was wired. And if I would have been able to show what I could do in the games, what I was doing in practice, and I believe that would have came true. But here I am today, and I went on IR. So basically what happens when I got hurt, I had to get surgery, and end up when I got the results back from the MRI, not only was the side that I felt torn, of course, but I came back, my left side was already torn. So I had to get both
Mm-hmm.
sides done. So because of that, decided to go on IR. I got cut, which the good thing about the NFL, if you were hurt and get cut, that they at least got to pay you something. So I either had the option to take a settlement or go on IR. I've never had surgery in my life. I've never been hurt like this. So I decided to go on IR to make sure that when it's time to go back and, train, work out for another team, I was going to be 100%. So, I was on IR for about 8 weeks and got released once I was healthy. And now these past 10 weeks, or 11 weeks, however long it's been since I've been out, there was a long time where you're sitting there and, you're still training, you're grinding. I'm finally healthy, and I'm, trying to get workouts, and I'm trying to show people that I can still play, and I know I can still play, and I know that there's nothing that's going to stop me. And it was hard. It was a long, like 10 or 12 weeks of not knowing, not getting any workouts, and eventually after the season ended, I got 2 workouts with the Chiefs and Browns, which went well. And that's the thing is, like, sometimes you go work out for a team and they'll be like, "Hey, you look good. We appreciate you coming." They can say great things about you, but like, "Look, we're not going to sign you today." So that can happen, but they'll keep you on your radars. But right now, I'm just still working, still grinding, trying to get more workouts, and hopefully, Lord willing, and God has blessed me this far, and I believe He's going to continue to bless me. That I hope we get some more workouts. And people ask me, like, "What are you going to do? What if this don't work out?" And like, I get all these questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my saying to people is like, always, I don't know. The only person I know that can stop me is me. So I don't know anybody else who can stop me because I'm not stopping myself. And I tell people that, just to show that, like, look, God going to come down here and strike me for me to stop playing this game, for me to stop. I'm gonna do whatever it takes, and until it's, when Fat Lady sings and it's time to be over with, it's over, then it's over. But I feel like I got a long ways to go. I feel like I can play 10 years in this league because I've not only have I feel like I've shown it throughout what my time with the Ravens and in college playing against other guys that are in the league, but just how my mindset is. So that's just kind of where I'm at right now. It's in a hurry up and wait situation right now. It's
Mm.
I don't want to wait and I don't want to be patient, but sometimes you got to be. So I know that was a little long spiel there.
I want to give you some.
We appreciate
I want
it.
to give you some advice. Okay, so I've been in your position before, hurt and working out for NFL teams, and you go in for the physicals, and they pulling and prodding, and they make you feel like a cheap flank steak. I get it. Been there, done all that.
Right.
But here's one thing that a lot of people don't want to talk about. When those lights turn out, that is a very lonely feeling. To be this close to achieving the goal that you had since you were a kid, and then to have it derailed, being this close, especially when injury plays a part in it and you didn't truly get to exhibit all of your potential, your talents to the world to take that next step. That is a hurt and a pain. I still have bad dreams about it to this day, man. The pain will never go away. The what ifs, the hurt, it'll never go away. The best advice I can give you, man, get my number from Justin or get somebody else's number who's been through something like this so that you can have a simple conversation with them. Because it's as simple as you talking to me or one of them, and it's about everyday life, and you can vent, because a lot of people will never understand what you're venting about. Because they'll say, oh, you played at Alabama, or you did this, you did that. And that's all they'll see. They don't understand that pain that a competitor has when he's this close to reaching that lifetime goal and being on the top of that mountain. And all of a sudden, it's cut short. And it's a lonely feeling, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I had a lot of bad nights, man. I had a lot of bad months. I had a lot of bad years, man.
Yeah.
I mean, because it wears on you, man. And that's one of the things nobody likes to talk about, man. And that was one of the things that I said when I came through my situation, that I would always reach back and share with others who went through something like what I went through, just so they know, man, you're not alone. Because I know, man, I've talked to some of the guys who I played with, thought about committing suicide, some close to committing suicide, some out of their home. There's a lot of bad thoughts that go through your mind when this doesn't work. And it's not that it didn't work. It's the fact that you've been programmed to think and be so competitive your whole life. So the mind has a hard time processing why not me? Why not now? And that's the most difficult part.
Well, I appreciate that, Mom. And you're totally right. And I think for me personally, what was the hardest is because so many people told me I couldn't do this. Like, so many people told me I couldn't play at Bama. So many people told me I couldn't even start at Bama, and all this blah blah blah. So I was right there, and at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's not really about proving people wrong. It's about proving myself right. But that's what makes it a little harder, because I was right there, and you're right, I was right there. But what helped me throughout that IR process and even the last 10 weeks is, I got back into scripture. I started reading my Bible every night and praying more than I had been before. And also, I try to what's something new I can learn every day? What's something new I can learn that, just to kind of keep my mind busy and, not dwell on the negatives in life. So I've definitely grown throughout this process. And, I always told people there ain't no plan B, but it's at the end of the day, there's more to life than this,
Right.
There is. But no, I'm not done. I got a long ways ahead of me, I feel like, God willing. But I definitely appreciate the advice, because there's some people that need to hear that. There's some people that maybe aren't as mentally equipped and strong as I believe I am, and I believe that I've been. So, but I've been through a lot, even since I was a kid, that have kind of prepared me for this. I grew up in a very tough family environment with my mom and dad. Both were drug addicts, and it was very hard for me growing up. And fortunately, I was blessed to have great grandparents who raised me since I was 8 years old. So it hadn't always been hard, but I've had to deal with a lot, and I feel like that's even going through college of dealing with fighting for a position and fighting for playing time and all that stuff, and being always told that you're not going to do that. I feel like that's also preparing me for times like this. So I feel like God gives us toughest battle, the strongest soldiers, and I believe that's true. So, and I'm not saying I'm the strongest one. I still need help, but I feel like I'm doing as good as I can. I feel like as good as you can is the best you can do.
Very true, but just know, we were all programmed to be the big, strong, tough guy, the warrior. Never show emotion. You can't wear it on your sleeve. The most soothing thing for me was when I finally had a person that I could talk to without judgment. That did the same thing that I did. Because again, talking to somebody who's never done this, that's like talking to the floor, because they will never understand the passion, the desire. They don't understand the pain. They don't understand the lifetime of commitment. It's so many different things that come into play that they will never understand. But it's got to be someone who you can talk to without judgment, because some of these guys, oh man, you soft, you sensitive. Listen, well, I don't need to talk to you clearly because you're not making this any better for me.
Right. No doubt.
Because that is what we were programmed for our whole lives. So when I finally got a guy that I could do that with, that was like when I was able to just release everything.
And Slade, just speaking of a guy that had the mentality you have, I mean, I know you played a year with Jalen Hurts in Alabama, that 2018 year. Looking at him now, going to the Super Bowl, like, how crazy is that for you? Like, you were in the same huddle with this cat. Now, he's in Super Bowl 57.
Taught him everything we know.
Marvin Pass Academy.
It is exactly. It is crazy. I mean, I'm not really surprised, just because he's like any of us who just was told that they couldn't be what they are now, and you always saw that work ethic and that consistency and just the things he does to prepare himself. I saw it at Bama, and I feel like he's just only grown from that. Just like the things you go through make you who you are, and I believe he's gone through a lot, and it's made him a better player and better man. So it is crazy knowing him and being a teammate of his. But I want to be to that point that like guys can be like, oh, I was a teammate with him. So like at the end of the day, I do feel like it is cool, and I'm very happy for those guys. Smitty, Jay Hurts, and Landon. And Jove, and I think that's. I don't think I'm missing anybody else, but very happy for those guys, and hopefully they'll pull it out for us for the Tide.
Not that it's a plan B, but with the enormous success that USFL has seemingly partnered with the NFL in creating opportunities, has that ever been a consideration for you as far as getting back on the field? Just, if anything, creating tape, showing the league that you are healthy, you are ready to go. Because I think they created 30 opportunities for players this past season. And of course, Bo is with the Stallions right now, and he's a big advocate about bringing guys in and creating opportunities. But yeah, is that something you considered? Like I said, not a plan B, but just something to get film with.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it's what I have to do, I'm going to do it. That's just like kind of what I was talking about before. Now, if I don't have to, then hopefully I can go right into summer with a team and get a futures contract, which is kind of the plan right now. But at the end of the day, if I got to do it, I will. I mean, at first it was in my mind, I was like, kind of thinking like I don't even want to think about having to do that, at first.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just unfortunately I didn't get to play in any preseason games. I don't have any film against professional guys, even though I have plenty of college film and I have plenty of practice film that I've sent out to 30,000 people. But not exactly. But
actually,
dude,
I
mean, if I have to, I will.
You went viral. You talked about OTAs, minicamp, and all that stuff. There was a touchdown pass from Lamar Jackson, a bomb, and that went viral, man. That was a pretty sweet moment.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was like one where I think I was running like a shallow cross in the end zone, and I mean he put it on the money, but he like flicked it, and I just dove and caught it. But yeah, it was on their media, and obviously people got it from Ravens media and put it. But yeah, there was also a bunch of clips of me running routes on air. Maybe you're talking about, but man, that was just like the a crumb of the stuff I was putting out, that I was putting on practice field every day that I was coming out. So I really had a good summer, and just like what we said with Marvin, just like right there that close, and then it's taken away. But yeah, I'll definitely consider it if I get to that point, and that's something I got to do. But right now the focus is get some more workouts. Hopefully someone take a chance on me, and they'll definitely won't regret it.
Yeah.
So what goes in, Slade, to those futures contracts when guys sign those?
They not about to sign you, man.
I'm just asking for reference, man.
Only position you can play is holder, and you wouldn't even know which ball to catch.
Look, you catch the ball cleanly and you spin the laces.
Which ball you gonna catch though? They're gonna look like about 5 of them coming at you.
You still got some left in the tank, Steve?
Hey, I got a lot left in the tank, man. A lot left in it.
You and everybody else, they still
yeah.
I don't,
but
it's over.
You can pay it down.
You ain't doing one either, Mama. That's funny. But no, I mean the futures contract is really just you sign and you go through the summer stuff and you go into training camp. It's nothing like guaranteed, but it's almost like being undrafted, essentially, except you don't get a signing bonus, which I don't even know if you want to call it that. But that's it. It's basically like being an undrafted guy. Less guarantee. You got to show up and show out, and it'd just be like starting over for me.
Gotcha.
But whatever it takes, baby. I'm all in.
Yeah, you're gonna be there, man. You'll be, I see a Pro Bowl in your future.
Hey, I appreciate it.
No lie.
I have a few of them.
A few of them, no doubt. Before I kind of switch to a small topic, I did want to ask about the opportunity you got to rejoin Jalen Armour Davis. I know you didn't see it coming, but he gets drafted. Y'all both get to camp together. Talk to us a little bit about the interaction and how competitive you guys were working against each other.
Oh, I love Jalen. He's one of the nicest, probably most humble, best guys I've played with and known. And it was funny, just going against each other. I told him, I think I said something to him like, man, we can't be going against each other. You know me too much and I know you too much, and it's not helping either. Like, all my tricks and I know your tricks. So like, let's face these other guys and show out. Or maybe I said that to him, like, hey man, stop guarding me. Look, let me get some of these other guys that don't know my moves. Because you got to think, you go against somebody 4 years every day of practice. Like, there's only so many releases I can get. There's only so many stems and top of the route moves. Like, if we're getting into the details of running routes, like, there's only so many things I can do. And if you see it every day, you start to learn someone really quickly on like how they do things. So I made a joke. I'm like, look, man, just give me someone else. But I love Jalen. It was cool. We were, able to help each other kind of, just talk about getting through things and what it takes. So no, it was cool to be back on the same team with him.
Gotcha. Well, he's late, but Steve Brown has made it here. He's been in an audition all night. Slade, I know he's been wanting to meet you for quite some time. He wasn't able to last time, but he's finally here. Steve Brown, comedy legend, our brother. What's going on?
Listen, man. First off, I'm pissed. These people held me longer than what they were supposed to keep me, and then the power went out on the set, so I had to stay longer. But listen, I'm really upset because y'all saw my commercial today. I'm the star of this show, okay? And I don't understand why y'all got Slade on here. He should have met me first, because it's about me. You saw the commercial. It's about me. Now, what we're gonna do is this: everybody gets started over. Marvin, go put something else on because you look awful. And what we're gonna do this all over again from the top. All right, Stephen M. Smith, wipe your glasses, get them unfogged. Let's do it.
Don't be mad at us because you didn't get that role as Mr. Clean in that commercial.
Wow.
Oh, that's good.
Wow.
Steve, you did
Slade, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How you doing, Mr. Steve? You all right?
I'm great, man. Don't you ever in your life call me Mr. Steve. I'm only 25, okay? Don't do that, ever.
That's just
We'll never have.
that's a southern what do you call it? Manners.
Hospitality.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right. Don't ever do that again. You will never be back on my show again. I'm the star of this thing, okay? Yeah.
All right, David Ruffin. All right.
Oh man, you kind of come at a good time because I wanted to address the topic before we jump to it. Steve, is there anything you'd like to ask Slade before we jumped over to a new topic?
You know, man. Right now, like I said, I'm just happy that you were on our team, brother. I think you did an amazing job, man. And so who do you think our next offensive coordinator would be? And do you think our last offensive coordinator was a good one? Don't lie. This is the Bama standard. Because if you lie, we'll know. Because usually when white men lie, their eyebrow, the right one twinkles. Justin does it all the time.
It goes up. You say, "Well, I'll try to." Right.
No, Justin does it all the time.
I don't really know. I saw, obviously, I keep up with people they're interested in based off just social media. I'm not in the building every day like I used to be, so I don't have quite the insights that I used to. But I will say, I think Brady was at the LSU's former co-offense coordinator and Joe Brady, right?
Yeah.
I think he would be a really good one. And I don't really know any other the guys that they're considering. I don't know the guy from I want to say, I mean, obviously I do know Greg Roman, but he ran just a totally different style of offense because when he was with the Ravens, because it was basically around Lamar. Now I'm sure he can run other types of offenses, but I've only seen that type of offense which was built around Lamar, and it was very, very complicated offense that I don't think college guys could really get a grasp of. Now I'm sure he could dumb it down for a college offense, but those are the only two that I know personally that are being considered. But I do think they're both good ones. I do think we couldn't go wrong with either Brady or Roman. But when you talk about OB, I know there's a lot of hate and not so much. I guess there's not a lot of good things people had to say about O'Brien this year. But being a guy who played under him and was with him every day, I think Coach O'Brien is one of my favorite coaches that I've. Justin,
get ready to cut him off. Justin, get ready to cut him off. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
and I'll tell you this. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I think O'Brien is a lot gifted and a lot as in when it comes to calling plays, he's a lot better and a lot gifted than some people believe he is. I mean, I've seen him come up with stuff that it's not necessarily that it didn't work, it's because we didn't execute it right. And besides that, I loved him as a person, and I felt like we got really close. And he, I liked him as a person just as much as I liked him as a offense coordinator. So,
hey, Slade, you know what?
Yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint.
You know what, Slade? I seen him come up with a lot of plays too. Very, very innovative. The thing is, the plays didn't work. Look, so I got one more other thing that I need to ask you. It's a petition going around, and you are one of the Alabama legends, and I need you on this one, okay? I want you to know about this petition, and you'll be the first Alabama player to sign off on it. And I know that you're a trailblazer, so I know the other players will follow suit. So with that being said, we're thinking about changing the name to this show. It's called the Bama Standard. Steve Brown and I feel like that if you jumped on board, I feel like since I'm the star of the show, I feel like, it'll go somewhere. So what do you say, buddy?
Well, I don't know, Steve. It's just this is my first time meeting you, and you're talking. You don't like my
Justin,
boy
get him off.
O'Brien.
Justin, get him off. Justin, get him off. Get him off.
I don't know, Steve. He did show up the entire show.
Oh man!
Shut up, Steve. Shut up, Steve.
But there is a topic I'd like to bring up. And Steve, I'm glad you're here. Recently, Nick Saban came out and talked about how he was approached by 2 players in regards to NIL, asking for money, combined $1.3 million, somewhere around that neighborhood. And
what?
But he proceeded to tell them the door's that way, kick rocks. Slade, you were kind of here when the NIL started, getting his feet wet, and I kind of let you lead this discussion off. What were your initial feelings about NIL, and now how do you feel about it as it's evolved?
This is one of those questions I get all the time too. I believe players should get paid. For a long time, I was thankful, and I was, happy that we were starting to be able to use our name and image and likeness to get money. Because I feel like, we bring so much money in to the colleges and the universities. And, no one comes to see, University of Alabama. They come to see the players on the field. We are the ones who bring, and obviously the coaches and everyone around but they get paid. We didn't. So, yeah, a degree is great. A degree is I was thankful for a degree. I was thankful for the monthly stipend we were getting. It was great. But now it's becoming an issue. Now there's my issue.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Slade.
Can I jump in? Can I jump in for a second? Listen. First off, Justin, you scared me because you said, I don't know if you heard, but Nick Saban came out. And when you said came out, I'm like, wait a minute. Because you paused it. You paused it a lot. You paused it.
I paused. I'm sorry, the pause did everything.
You said he came out. I'm like, wait a minute. So, So Justin, and then another thing, those players coming to Nick Saban asking for that money and like trying to bargain and all that type stuff. I really believe, me being a black man, and it's about to be Black History Month, I believe that was the first time, we didn't see it, but I believe Nick Saban turned black and said, if y'all don't get the hell on, up out this bitch. That's what I believe Nick Saban did. He said, if y'all don't get the hell on about this bitch, that's what I believe. He ain't say there's the door. He said exactly that. That's what I believe.
He was probably like, y'all out of y'all's damn minds. Huh?
But the thing about it though, I don't fault them for asking, because that's the reality of where we are in college football. I mean, if people are getting paid, why am I going to devalue myself? If I know, I got guys who I'm better than getting $500,000-$600,000 over here, then naturally, I'm gonna want $700,000-$800,000. Why am I going to devalue myself? Yeah. Again, I'm not gonna go to school and struggle when I'm better than all these other cats at other schools getting all this money.
That's unrealistic. That's unrealistic.
Hold on. And you got coaches out here making $8-9 million a year. You got coordinators making $2 million a year. Position coaches making over $1 million a year. Come on now. But the main talent pool, you want them to come out there and just do it for education? Those days are long gone. So I'm all for maximizing their value and commanding what they deserve.
Marvin, that's unrealistic and greedy. What about the other players? I understand you getting paid, but come on now, that's just being selfish. And I don't blame Nick Saban. I would have told him to get the hell on too. I don't care who you are, because this is team. And if I was a coach, which I'm not, but if I could, I would make sure all my players get the same thing, so we won't have all of these distractions based on who's getting what and this and that. That's what I wish college football would put in place, where all the players get the same thing across the board, so it won't be all of this going on, because it's going to get worse and worse and worse, because people are going to do exactly what these 2 players did, go individually and look at it from an individual standpoint and try to ask for stuff that they know they
Hey, man.
shouldn't be asking for. How you doing, sir? I'm
What are you
the
doing?
star of the
He
Bama
go to-
Standard. I just wanted you to know that I'm the star of the show.
Hey,
Yeah. So anyway,
are you in Chevron?
I just wanted you to know,
Steve.
I just wanted y'all to know, man, that y'all need to know. How you doing, man? I'm the star of the Bama Standard, Steve, bro. You know me? You don't?
Now
Okay,
you
how much
forgot
it
your
is?
ski mask before you
Okay,
robbed
cool.
that
Just,
store.
I'm gonna put them back then because I ain't got the money right now. Yeah. So I'm gonna go to the car because I thought I had that. I ain't have it. But as I was saying, guys, people, I'm the star. It's a show I'm on right here.
Yo,
Can you say what's up to the Bama Standard?
How are you?
There you go. And I'm the star. Right. That's me, right? The Bama Standard. I'm the star of the show.
Bama Standard.
Yeah. Bama, say
Roll
what's up,
Tide.
Bama Standard, if you will.
How you doing, Bama Standard?
There you go, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank
Here's
you
the
so
star.
Yeah, I'm the star.
He's
Yeah.
the court
So as
jester.
I was saying, I think all the players should be paid across the board. Y'all go ahead, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I think
I just wanted to,
I think the
Yeah.
biggest gripe more so was that if a recruit
Yeah.
came in there asking for money, having not played a down of college football,
Yeah.
I think that's where Coach Saban may be a little outdone because he believes strongly. Of course, Slade, you know this, proving yourself, earning your way to these things. And one thing that I've considered that they may need to do is based on it like the NFL, incentive based. Give a base salary to start it out. And then as they accumulate certain milestones, like if you're a running back, if you rush for 1,000 yards, 1,500 yards whatsoever, get player of the week, player of the year, all conference whatsoever, have more money be thrown your way. Guys, is that something that we could legitimately implement? What are your feelings on that?
No,
I like it.
That's a great idea.
No. Because here's the reality. They'll say that the NIL is name, image, and likeness. The schools aren't paying this money. So if you set it up on that way, now you're putting a pay structure in place on the school level opposed to the NIL level. So you've opened a whole nother set of problems at that point.
Yeah. Well, my take is like you said, Justin, like I don't believe guys who haven't proved themselves, you can get $1 million and hadn't played a snap in college football. And then, if you're a bust, like you're a first round pick that never amounts to anything, you get $1 million to come to college over, you go to Texas A&M or Tennessee over a Bama, and you may not win a championship, but I got $1 million. But then again, if I'm a kid who came from nothing, I got to take care of moms. I got to take care of, my sister, my brother. I don't blame you for taking that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then there's another twist of that of, okay, some guys may not play and some guys do play, and the guys that do play and do well should get more for their name, image, and likeness than guys that don't play. But some guys that don't play post a couple of TikToks and they're automatically famous, and then people want to give them deals because they have more followers. So there's like a whole vast span of all this stuff that is very, kind of hard to, but I do think it is getting out of hand. And I feel like guys are, which, it's hard to blame them. Guys are taking advantage of this and getting money, but do you blame a kid who came from that? I mean, shoot, if you offer me a $500,000 to come to Bama, which they did not, I promise you that, then I swear I'm coming. Like, what do you mean? Like that is the whole, that's the tough thing about it. And there's going to be some limitations, I feel like, are going to be installed, but man, it's getting crazy out there. I know Saban don't like it.
I just said, here's my routing number and my account number. That's all you need, man. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, I don't even think I got a free hat.
No,
like,
Slade.
hey.
Man,
Like, hey,
Slade, you got cheated
play?
in school. Well, you didn't get nothing free, man.
Well, maybe.
Russell, he
maybe
need to get a hat.
I'm not far out of college enough to.
Oh, right. The
give up
statute of
anything.
limitations on you are still in place. They expired on me. I can tell you everything.
Well, you know what, Slade? You know what? That's good for you, brother. You got a hat. You got something to brag about it and show your kids. I went to college and I got crabs. So listen, that's not good. Not good at all. It's not good. I mean, imagine me showing my kid, look, son, look what I got. No.
Oh, that's funny as hell. Oh, man.
There is one thing I wanted to ask you. I like to ask a lot of former Bama guys who transition to the NFL. What's harder, Alabama practices or NFL practices?
Bama, by far. And you know what's crazy is people that came from other teams that were with the Ravens were saying that the Ravens was harder than every team they've ever been on. I'm like, well, if this is the hardest it's going to get, I think I'm good because like this is easier than what I had to do with Saban. So, but yeah, it's by far will be Bama.
So Slade, what made it that hard? I mean, I was out at the Bama practices in that heat. I was out there with y'all. I mean, I was covering y'all, but I was out there. But for you, like, what made that so hard?
I mean, the heat obviously never helps, but the tempo, like how we start off practice, like we get into it. We go straight into like turnover drills, and we go straight to individual drills, and it's just like fast. And then, you know, we always say like once we make it through like the first 7-8 periods of practice, then it's pretty smooth after that because then you got your just offense versus defense, scout team, offense. You know, well, fall camp training camp, or fall camp practices are good on good the whole time, so that's always going to be hard. But it's that first hour of practice that's just nonstop tempo, and the reason we play so well and never really seem to get tired in games is because we don't really run that well. Sometimes we do run a lot, but we don't really like run sprints after because we practice so fast, and that's what helps us continue to play fast and not get tired.
Gotcha. Well, we've actually gone over, but we've enjoyed it. Before we move into our closing segment, guys, I'm gonna let y'all go around the room, get some closing questions for Slade. So, Steve Brown, since you're the star of the show, go ahead and start us off, brother.
Slade, listen, man. I just regret that I wasn't here on time to to listen to all the jewels you dropped, man. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
It's always a blast.
Hey, man, come back anytime, man. Just come back to the Bama Standard with Steve Brown and them. You know, and we really appreciate you. Just,
that's so messed up.
Yeah, come back. You know, Steve. You know, Bama Standard, Steve Brown, and them. Yeah, Bama Standard, Steve Brown, and them. Yeah.
T-shirts coming. Marvin.
Man, again, man, you know, best thing just take care of yourself and remember, man, you've come a long way in life. Football has changed you in more ways than you will ever realize until you get a little bit older. And once you get a little bit older, you'll realize all the life lessons and everything that you truly learned from football and how they truly shape you into the man that you are. So, and you've made brothers, man, that you'll be friends with, man, forever. I kid you not, man. You know, I had to go to one of my former teammates that I played with at Alabama's funeral last week, and there was so many of us there. And, you know, the fact that so many of us still talk on a weekly basis, 20-something years later, man. So,
that's what's up.
Be thankful, be blessed,
Bama
man.
sci-fi.
There you go, all day, baby. So, you know, and again,
right.
You know, if you ever need somebody to talk to, you can call me or one of your other teammates that have been through something, man, because I promise you that is one of the most refreshing conversations you'll ever have when you can talk to somebody who understands and there's no judgment.
Oh, yeah, one more thing. I'm sorry, Slade. One more thing. I'm sorry. I got to say this because Marvin was dropping some jewels about inspiration. And I may as well say this too, man, because it made me think of something to say to you too. Listen, a sundress with no ass is just a long t-shirt.
I knew it was coming.
I mean, hey, you know what, Steve? I felt that.
I didn't say nothing. I just tried to be deep.
You inspired me.
You deep.
A lot with that one.
Just tried to.
Stephen and Smith, go ahead and ask your question.
Hopefully I don't find no girl with no long shirt then. Hopefully. That's the message behind it. Don't find a girl with long t-shirts.
As hard as it's gonna be to top with my man Steve Brown just said, it's gonna be hard to top that. Man, hey, Slade, continue to ball, man.
Yeah.
Ball as much as you can. Ball as much as you can. And it's like you said yourself. The only person that can stop you is you. So if you feel like I can still ball for as long as I can, ball for as long as you can.
That's the plan.
I don't get it.
Yeah, some people may be naysayers and they may be against what you're doing, but the thing is, and I told Glenn Coffey and Trent Richardson this last week, a week before, that you have a specific calling from God. He breathed it into your life, and it was meant for you to understand and you to go on a journey, not somebody else. Someone who's not on that journey with you will never understand what's about, will never understand the work that needs to take place in order to achieve it. So don't listen to what anyone else is saying. Continue to ball, continue to grind, because, man, we said it earlier, and I was serious about this. You're going to be in a Pro Bowl or 2 or 3, and you're going to be remembered well. Of course, Bama Nation, Bama Sci-Fi is always going to remember you for sure, man.
Mm-hmm.
So just remember that. You're always going to be, legend status and to us.
That's right. And Slade, and make sure, Slade, live every day as if it was your last.
No doubt.
Live every day as if it was your last, but wear a condom and play your bills just in case it ain't. What?
Oh my God!
I love how Justin gives me like a devotional, and then Steve come in with that shit.
he's a crooked pastor.
That just lets you know that everybody's welcome on this show. It don't
Exactly.
Hey, Steve.
You could be the pastor, or you could be the local, whatever you want, drug dealer. Not really, but you could be
Deacon
Steve, I love
right
that hat. I love that hat, Steve.
Thank you. It's better than Marvin's. Thank you. It's better than Marvin's.
Well, I didn't steal mine. I paid for it.
Marvin, you're not gonna get people on. You're not gonna get me on this show and put people in my business.
So let's move into closing segment. I'll start things out with Marvin. Tell folks what's going on with 40 Plus Strong, how they can find you, all that good stuff.
You can find me on my IG, Constant45. The link to purchase my book is actually on there. Oh man, at this point in life, I've fully recovered from my knee replacement surgery. So now it's just, getting back used to being the old me. That's one of the most difficult things to process, because it's funny. Now I can do things that I hadn't been able to do the last, 10, 15 years. And it's just, I laugh about it. And my wife, she's like, you're just such a big kid. I was like, well, I hadn't been able to do this for 10, 15 years. So naturally, I'm going to enjoy doing it now that I can do it.
So you got the blue pills too. Okay.
My mama taught me how to ignore negativity growing up. So.
Remember, your journey's not his.
Right. So, but, if anybody who's looking to get in shape in your late 30s, 40s, early 50s, my book is a great tool to help you get there. So, and just understand that the body operates differently at this age than it did in your 20s and 30s. You won't get those same results. You can no longer go out drinking all night and go to the gym the next day and still have a 6-pack. That's not going to work at this age.
No doubt.
Get that book, people. It works. Get that book.
It never worked for me, so I couldn't do that either.
I'll save you for last, Slade. Steve Brown, what you got coming up? How can folks find you on your comedy tour? And then tell them about your IG and your other social media.
IG, you can follow me at Comic Steve Brown. Make sure y'all follow, and y'all can hit my Facebook fan page, Comedian Steve Brown. I will be in Columbus, Georgia, performing this weekend wearing my Alabama shirt. So all you Georgia fans, get ready because I'm coming. Then following weekend, I will be in Pensacola, Florida, and Tampa, Florida. And as a matter of fact, Marvin came to one of my live shows, and he would not make eye contact. I wonder why. He would not. His wife and everybody enjoyed the show. Marvin, he would not make eye contact because he knew what was coming.
Oh, I wish I could have been there for that.
Oh, jeez.
Stephen M. Smith, what you got going on? What's up with In My Own Words tomorrow night? And do we have some news coming?
I mean, hopefully there'll be some news coming, but whether there be news or not, everybody's going to talk about, the coordinators. When's that going to happen? Which we all know Saban going to announce it when he feel like announcing it. But we'll have fun with it. We'll talk about Super Bowl. Can Jalen Hurts be the 4th former Bama quarterback to win a Super Bowl? I mean, you can be right up there with Bart Starr and Joe Namath and Ken Stabler, so it's going to be fun.
Absolutely. Quick shout out. I can't believe we hadn't said this before now. D'Amico Ryans, congratulations on
Yes,
becoming the next
Miko.
coach of the Houston Texans.
Hey,
Oh,
Miko, if you can hear this, draft
that's
Bryce
what's up.
Young. Draft Bryce
That's
Young,
what's up.
Miko.
Actually, we got a wide receiver right here who you could look at. D'Amico.
Wouldn't mind. Be with
say,
Mitch.
say the best for last. Tell people what you got going on. I remember seeing you do some things for a clothing line. Is that something you're still active with? Tell folks how they can find you on social media, what other things you got going on. And I also invite you to come back, to let us know your process as far as the NFL, because we love to keep fans informed.
Yeah, that sounds good for sure. First off, I want to say thank y'all for having me. It's been a blast as always. Appreciate the words of encouragement and advice, and especially the advice from Steve. Really appreciate that, even though he's not on the screen. There he is. But
Slade,
I mean, you can look me up on Instagram. It pops up. I said
somebody clothing line.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, but you said somebody. Somebody mentioned somebody clothing line, and I was wondering if you can merge your clothing line with Stacey Adams. I got you can merge
clothing that look good with some of those outfits you got, man, for sure.
I just want to see you run a 40 in those.
I love it.
Are those the Pastor threes?
Won't be any. He said, "Yeah." But you could search. If you search my name on Instagram, it'll pop up. And also on Twitter, you'll find it. But I got a few. I'm working on some NIL stuff right now. Speaking of, but just to kind of, luckily, Lord's blessed me financially, being able to have a little NIL, and then also, even though I'm out of work technically right now, I was able to get something from that IR situation. So, but right now, man, just grinding every day, literally nonstop, and just waiting on when that opportunity comes, and I would take full advantage of it.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming, man.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
I believe so too.
Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you again, Slade, for coming on. Glad to have Steve on his show. Been fun as always. We'll be back next week. Y'all tune in. Until then, roll tide.
Roll tide.
Roll tide.